Hey guys, Outdoor Enthusiast 88 here again. So something to consider when you go out to the shooting range or go out to your land to go shooting or go on a hunting trip is the possibility of getting injured. It could be, a gunshot wound by accident. It could be a ricochet. Maybe you need some stitches. Something along the lines of like a trauma. So what you need to consider is actually packing yourself a field medical trauma kit. Now that could mean a small first aid kit with a bunch of additional more trauma related kit pieces, such as like an Israeli bandage, heavy gauze, maybe even a suture kit, something like that. And what I want to show you guys today is how to build your own medical field trauma kit for less than $60. And obviously a lot of the stuff in these trauma kits are really expensive. You'll notice a lot of the websites that do sell pre-packaged trauma kits actually run upwards of $100. So this is kind of neat. Including the case, I can get you under 60 bucks. So let me just show you guys the difference between a few first aid kits to let you guys kind of know how you should package it. So you have something like maybe a small little travel medical first aid kit, maybe a personal first aid kit for the home, some basic band-aids, that kind of thing. Maybe a little more advanced. You can buy one of these like adventure kits with quite a lot of adventure things in there for a basic hike. But when you're dealing with firearms, something much more tactical and advanced is probably needed. And this is actually, and I wrote this down to remind myself how much all this stuff cost. I'm going to show you guys. It was exactly 60 bucks after shipping and everything. But this is actually the MOLLE pouch that I got. It's an Orca MOLLE EMT pouch, and this is actually one of the most expensive parts of this whole kit. This and the Tourniquet are about 15 bucks a piece, so you can get it much cheaper. You can actually go cheaper than 60, but this is what I chose. And here's some of the specs on it. Give you guys an idea. Got this off Amazon. Pretty good deal. So, field medical trauma kit. This is obviously a MOLLE pouch. You can obviously see the first thing you see is these shears right here. And these are great. What's interesting is you see a lot of the side pouches, you see a lot of like tourniquet shear combinations. What's cool about the MOLLE webbing is that there is kind of a nub on these, so actually it's probably not going to fall out. You'll notice that there. Now if you push it down, you can pull it right out. Really nice shears. I believe we got these off Amazon as well. They're only a couple of bucks. You don't have to have super fancy ones. They're all pretty good. If you do work in the medical field, you want to get really nice ones that will last, but these are great for just kind of using and throwing away. So I just kind of keep those right there. Little medical pouch, medical patch. Of course, you got the MOLLE backing, a couple of D-rings on the top here. This is an excellent EMT pouch, built really well. So what you want to do is take it and zip it. And this is all, nothing came with this pouch, by the way. I built this whole thing, and that's why I'm kind of showing you guys what you can put in here. So you pop it open, it folds out like that. It's got a little drainage hole in the bottom if it gets wet or anything like that. And we're just gonna go right to left. So, see, first thing I did was, I actually went and there's kind of a slip knot there. You can actually pull this away with some paracord, and this is just some of the, some basic waterproof adhesive tape to wrap something up, maybe you have to do a splint or something like that. You never know if you break a leg or something like that. I mean, this is pretty much the bare necessities. Have some tape, and the waterproof one is really good. Got an ace bandage, wrap something up, sprained ankle, something like that. The neat thing about these are they're self-adhesive. They won't last a very long time, but you can see you can fold them flat, which is perfect for lying in one of these kits. Got some clamps here. Now these are actually pretty cheap. You can get them off eBay. They're just like medical grade stainless steel. They come in packs of like 2 usually. What they are actually is to hold a wound together. And let me make a point here. I have some medical training, but it's just basic first aid training. If you guys have any suggestions at all or anything I might have said wrong during this whole thing, this is a kit designed for an absolute emergency. Obviously, if something happens in the field, out in the middle of nowhere, try to get to a hospital as soon as possible. But this is great for, you know, in an emergency, nothing else is around. Hopefully you have a buddy there to help you out, or you can help your buddy out, either way. So just keep that in mind. This is very basic level stuff, not surgeon related or anything like that. But these are actually great for clamping. You can actually use them for a variety of things if you need to clamp wound shut or something like that. Great for grabbing something. Maybe you need to take a bullet out. Maybe there's a fragment or something in there. You can see the curved needles there. And they do lock, which is really good. And they have several lockings, so you can decide how tight you want them. And they pop close, and they pop open. So there you go, there's a few things right there. Gloves, several pairs of gloves, obviously very important. Now I threw this in there. Sometimes it goes in here, sometimes I take it out. This is just one of the Gerber dimes. I have reviewed this in the past. Excellent little multi-tool. You can see it's got a bunch of lint on it from being in my pocket. Sometimes, like I said, it doesn't always stay in here, but it's good to have a little multi-tool, some scissors. I mean, obviously you have your cutters here in the front, but these are great to have, some extra little multi-tool options in there. So I threw in here a glow stick. You never know, you need some light. And obviously this is very basic, but you never know. This is pretty much a necessity. This is one of the Israeli emergency bandages for trauma wounds. You see that? Section hemorrhoid control bandage. Got a nice instructions. On the back, they last forever. I'm not gonna open up. They are very expensive. I can't remember how much they were. I think they're upwards of close to 10 bucks now. So, you know, but these things work really well. They're proven all around the world. And then I threw in here some extra gauze. Take a look here. Yep, extra gauze pads. Trying to put pressure on something, on a wound to cut. So here is a bunch of meds. You know, sometimes this will be useful, sometimes not. You'll see I labeled them. I went and I grabbed a bunch of little bags, and I went and I put in like a leave. I put the expiration date. There's some ibuprofen here for lesser. There's a, you know, motion sickness, something that you might need in the field. You never know. Maybe you get sick. Maybe you just need some Advil. Whatever. It's good to have a variety of basic medication on you. So this is actually. So I can pop this out for you guys. This is a rat tourniquet. See it there, rat's tourniquet. Now, tourniquets obviously are for emergencies only. This one is interesting because you actually can wrap it around the wound and then the leg or an arm or whatever you want to try to kind of tourniquet up to slow the bleed down. You can actually go and wrap it up, and they have little clamps on the side, and it's really lightweight. It's pretty inexpensive. They're about 10, 15 bucks. So, you know, if you want to learn more about this, take a look on YouTube. You can see a bunch of these being demonstrated. But there's various ways to do that. I believe it's actually, you have to loop it through, something like that. So I actually do put the instructions in here, and I'll show you guys the instructions. I think they're down here, but I grabbed a lighter. You never know. Fire starter. These Bic lighters last pretty much forever. Work really good. So these two were actually things I had lying around. These are from Amazon. They're called a wound seal powder to stop bleeding. Now obviously this is for minor external bleeding, but if you have something that's really bleeding a lot, you can pour this in there and it'll help clot the wound up for you. Pretty cool. They come in a pack of like 6, I think. You get a bunch of them. So this is something I thought of. Probably not the most professional, but again, emergency, no one else around. If you need stitches, I bought a little $1 little kit here. It's a little needle and thread kit. Obviously, suture kits are really hard to find unless you go to a medical website, and they are very expensive. So I don't have a suture kit, but again, I don't plan on needing it. But if you need it, needle and thread, you never know. And of course, it could be good for everything else too. Maybe fixing a shirt or clothing or something. I mean, not just emergency related. And then also you can always use dental floss for extra threading or something like that. You never know, this holds really well. Actually, there's a bunch of YouTube videos about how just using dental floss is kind of like the duct tape. It's good for everything. So going right along here. Antibiotic ointment. This you always obviously want to keep and make sure that the date is accurate. Make sure that it's always up to date and not expired. Great thing to have. There's a lot of stories about, you know, infections killing people who didn't have options to get antibiotic stuff. So get this. You get any kind of minor cut, put it on there, wrap it up, keep it clean. Could save your life. And there is the rat's tourniquet. Instructions I always keep on there because you know, obviously we don't use these every day, so you want to keep some kind of guide with you, and this is what came with it. Kind of a basic card here. So you actually go and run it through a loop, wrap it around, cinch it tight. There you go. So if you want to read that, you can. Now this is actually more of a basic medical first aid kit in here. I just kind of threw it in a bag, and pretty much just to keep the bandages dry, waterproof. What you have in here is a bunch of like alcohol pads. These are medical grade prep pads. You can use them for cleaning up minor scrapes and stuff. You have a variety of band-aids. You can see all the different sizes of the band-aids in there. And these are actually pretty cool. These are these steri strips. These are kind of real basic suture kind of thing. So if you have a cut that you need to keep closed, it's pretty like a big gash, you can try to use those to help keep it closed until you can get better medical attention. Or of course you can try to sew yourself up, but again, I don't recommend any of this. So if you can, get to a hospital if you can. There's a bunch of alcohol, a bunch of extra padding, bunch of gauze. Some of these are the non-stick pads, which are really good to have. So that triple layer non-stick. So that's good to have. So that's pretty much it to a medical field trauma kit. There's not, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here. You can see all this stuff here that goes into it. But you know, this is an extreme, it's almost like an advanced first aid kit. You have your basic first aid, and you kind of go into more advanced and what you might need in an absolute emergency with some serious problems going on. So, well, thanks for watching, guys. Hey, let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions or if you have any questions at all. I'll try to answer them. And you know, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and have a good one.